Hello everyone, this is Anurag Ray from PestRemovalWarrior.com. Today I will be talking about a very interesting subject, that is 10 animals that gets drunk and gets high. Now, these animals are often seen to get drunk and they behave very oddly when they are drunk, and from that we have drawn the conclusion of these animals, and you will find it that there are few number of animals that are out there that actually can get drunk, and this thing is pretty common in nature. Many animals get drunk from mainly from the fruits, fermented fruits, flowers and other things, and they consume it and they feel they get drunk and behave very oddly. And from that, many scientists has come to the conclusion, and many scientists have also conducted tests upon those animals and then found that their alcohol level was high in their bloodstream. As a result, they are able to draw a conclusion that most of the animals are of these animals actually gets drunk. And before we get started, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that you can receive updates about my videos when it is uploaded, and along with that help my channel grow. So number one in the list is the monkeys. Velvet monkeys especially are actually seen to get drunk. Now, these monkeys usually gets drunk from the fermented sugar cane, and from that they usually gets drunk. And it has been seen that they actually behave very oddly, and even some of the people who wanted to capture these monkeys actually was able to do it much easily when they were drunk, because they were behaving very oddly and they didn't have any coordination within their movements. So usually this happened from a naturally created fermented alcohol that is consumed by this monkey, and they were like in ecstasy when they were actually consumed that. And these animals also seem to get addicted. These monkeys also seems to get addicted to this to this alcohol, to this drink, and they behave very oddly. This is not just one monkeys, rather many of these velvet monkeys, the group of these velvet monkeys got affected by this fermented sugar cane that is found in the nature, and then they get drunk, and many of them were captured for the people who actually want to capture, and from there they were able to draw a conclusion that these monkeys were actually drunk. The number two in the list is moose. Moose also gets drunk. If you have ever seen a moose, they are usually found in Sweden, and they also get drunk. They usually get drunk by eating fermented apples that have fallen on the ground or from the trees which are already fermented, and they consume that and they get drunk. They behave very oddly. They lose their coordination, and they almost feel that you can actually identify them very easily, and you can also determine that their behavior is rather odd compared to other moose. So the moose actually consumes it and they like it most likely, and as a result they keep on many mooses has actually consumed. It's not just one sample. There have been lot amount of mooses over there who have consumed these apples and has got drunk, and they have been fallen into the researchers' eyes because of this. So moose is the number two in the list. The number three in the list is slow lorries. Slow lorries are actually very cute and very adorable and innocent looking creature, but they have a dark side to them. That is, they actually like this kind of drinks. But normally they don't take the alcoholic drink, but obviously they take extremely fermented fruits that has a very high level of sugar content in it, and that gives them the energy. And those kind of fruits actually creates a more reaction within their body and creates a sense of getting drunk within them, and that's how scientists are able to draw conclusion that these slow lorries are actually drunk. And most likely, if they are given an alcohol and highly fermented fruit, they will consume the highly fermented fruit because of the various reasons that they are rich in energy, rich in sweet. They are sweet and they are rich in energy. As a result, they like to consume this fruit, and this once consumed creates different kind of reactions, and they feel like they are getting drunk. The number four in the list is waxwing. Now, waxwings are also really great creatures. They have a higher metabolic rate, three times more higher metabolic rate compared to that of omnivorous, and they have a large liver, so which obviously gives them an upper hand in consuming alcohol, and they usually consume alcohol occasionally because obviously they can digest the alcohol much faster. They have a high metabolic rate, and that allows them to consume the alcohol without getting completely drunk. However, they usually consume the alcohol from fermented fruits. The fermented fruits are actually a part of their diet, and they consume it pretty often, and but that doesn't always get drunk because obviously they have a higher metabolic rate, so which gives them the additional benefit because of a strong liver. The number fifth in the list is tissue. Tissue looks very much like a mongoose and a mixture of some rodents. They also look very cute, but they have considered to have the highest alcohol tolerance compared to human and compared to other animals also, because they actually can take the they usually like to consume alcohol from the flower buds from a palm tree, and then they can consume it throughout the day and doesn't get drunk. Normally, if a human tries to consume that, they will immediately feel the effect. It's very strong, and even big animals get drunk through it. But this tree shrew doesn't get drunk by it because they have the highest alcohol tolerance, which allows them to consume alcohol on a pretty regular basis, and they doesn't get drunk by it. This gives them the high energy and also the required energy that they need, along with that extreme high sugar. So definitely they like to consume this kind of fruits, and obviously they doesn't get drunk, which gives them additional potential to consume as much as they want. They have a very extremely high level of tolerance. The number 6 in the list is chimpanzees. West African chimpanzees are seen to get drunk on an occasional basis. They are much like attracted towards the smell of the alcohol, and they like alcohol. They drink on purpose, much like us humans, and they actually like to drink the alcohol. So it has been seen in many occasions that these chimpanzees are actually drinking the alcohol and getting drunk, and from that researchers are able to draw a conclusion, and studying their behavior on how often they get drunk, they have able to draw the conclusion that they would do it pretty frequently. They actually like it, and that's the reason they do it. It's not that they do it because they have scarcity or because they don't have any other food. It's not because of that. They do it because they like it, and they do it pretty often. The number 7 in the list is bats. The bats, there are very different species. Some of them have a higher tolerance to alcohol, some of them doesn't have higher tolerance to alcohol, but most of the bats consumes alcohol in one way or the other because of the different kind of fermented fruits. They consume the alcohol, and most of the bats, especially bats in the Central and South America, are seen to perform perfectly fine even after consuming alcohol. The highest level of alcohol percentage in a bat's blood as tested is 0.3%, where for human it is considered only to be 0.08% to be a normal range. Beyond that, it can become potentially problematic. Even after consuming that amount of alcohol, the bat was able to echolocate and fly, and doesn't injure themselves while flying. They can easily echolocate and get their job done. But there are different species of bats. Some bats are not so good. Some bats get more affected by this alcohol. Some bats are more potentially more tolerant to the alcohol compared to other bats. But when the test conducted on that bat actually allowed them scientists to understand that they can actually perform quite okay even if they are consume a higher degree of alcohol compared to that of human. So which gives them a spot in this list. The number 8 spot goes to rats. Now rats are everywhere. Rats actually consume different kinds of fruits, and obviously they consume fermented fruits. Now these fermented fruits of course can make them drunk. Now they can also consume alcohol depending upon how the alcohol is presented. They are not going to consume it directly from the bottles, but if the alcohol is presented in a way like if it's kept on a bowl and it has been kept in a unopened and uncovered, then chances are the rat can actually try to grab on that alcohol, because of course that is the alcohol stinks of the fermented fruit, and along with that the alcohol has very high reach of sugar, and the energy they need can be gathered from the alcohol, which gives them a potentially good food for the rats. However, rats also get drunk when they consume alcohol, and even from the fermented fruits or from direct alcohol, they get drunk and behave very oddly. They are unable to locate their directions, unable to locate from where they came out and where to go from, and that can make a pretty bit problematic for the rat, because they can get caught by other predators or can get caught by you, and that can become potentially problematic for the rats. But that doesn't stop them from consuming alcohol in any way, because there is a really good food energy source for them. The number 9 in the list are raccoons. Raccoons are much like that they also consume fermented fruits that are found over the trees, and they get drunk. When they are drunk, they behave very oddly. They are unable to climb trees properly. They usually like to lie down and become more like lazy, and they are unable to climb trees properly, and they can often seen to behave very oddly. You can identify a raccoon which is drunk, of course, because they will be behaving completely differently from the other raccoons. It may look like they are diseased also, but of course that is not always the case. But obviously you shouldn't go near the raccoons because it can be diseased. But their behavior is very distinctive from the raccoons which are not drunk, and you can definitely differentiate between a raccoon that is a drunk and a not drunk. The number 10 in the list goes to ants. Ants are like they can eat every kind of fruit, and alcohol is definitely in their list. They are especially attracted towards highly fermented alcohol, mostly like the wine, and then there is beer. They really like that because the smell also comes out from it, and they really like that kind of food. And the moment they take it, they behave very oddly. They are obviously seem to lose their path. They seem to lose their track from where they came, and they seem to get lost when they consume large amount of alcohol. And they are also seem to get addicted to alcohol. And along with that, if after consuming alcohol, they also like to consume sugary products. So and they obviously get drunk by it. And given upon a choice upon what should they choose, a alcohol or a sugary product, they of course most of the time they can choose the alcohol because they get addicted to the alcohol. This has often been researched, and this has often found out that they can also get affected by the alcohol because they likes to consume the alcohol. And if not all, some of the ants actually gets addicted to the alcohol, and they likes alcohol over other foods. So that's it for this list. If you really like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. And I'm uploading 2 videos every single week, that is on Monday and Friday. So don't forget to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so that you can receive updates about my videos when it is uploaded. Thank you.